Shady, what went wrong for the Lakers?
Before we get to the Lakers, though, I wish all the viewers out there could have seen Joey Taylor jump up on his chair.
What are you supposed to
That
be
athletic
like that?
move, right?
Yeah, bro, that was
Listen,
that. They did that last night.
Yeah.
Listen, I was an athlete at one point, okay? We have a whole system. Michelle helps me up. It's a big jump.
No, but you got heels on and did that. That was...
Yeah, listen, you know, I got a little left in me. The Lakers do not. What went wrong for them?
Boom.
I think a couple of things. One is they actually just ran into the better team again, right? We seen what happened to them the last time they played them in the playoffs. They got swept, and this time was a gentleman's sweep. So as much as the Lakers, they fought hard, right? And they didn't finish. I think the biggest issue is they didn't finish, and they ran into a better team. When I say finish, three out of the games they lost, what was 4-1? 4-1? Three of them games they should have won. Game 1 they should have won, and I don't care what nobody says. In game 2, for sure, they should have won. Last night, as I watched that game, I thought they should have won that game. I think as much as Ham gets blamed for everything, he's doing a good job of putting his players in position to win. But at the end of the day, the players got to go out there and play, Joey. That's how it works.
It is.
So, Slick, I know you want to bash the Lakers and all that. I'll just say this. They show fight, bro, and they show heart.
Yeah, they did.
And I would love to see them running back again with the same team. Maybe a couple more little additions, right? But they're not far away.
Slick was like, you had me until
you almost
you had me until the
not
first
far
half,
away,
I'm not
Slick.
gonna lie.
Yeah, I was going to say, Shady, you look like you could give a TED Talk. You're looking sharp
Hey,
and...
listen.
What is Shady's TED Talk?
Oh, man, I'll kill it. I have Acho on my ear, right? Tell me the little, you know what I'm saying? And then I'll do my own spice to it.
He's gonna give you the lines.
It's so good.
What is your TED Talk for the Lakers?
Yeah,
Slick?
it is... See, this is where I disagree in that they made it to the Western Conference Finals last year.
Right.
And they essentially ran it back, thinking that they were on the come-up rather than they overachieved and this is as good as it's going to get. And so, largely because you have a 39-year-old LeBron James who was a year older, and they really didn't resolve their greatest issue, which is that you were relying on that 39-year-old LeBron James to be your closer. And it's no slight to him, but at 39 years old, doing all that he has to do over the course of 3.5 quarters, and now you're asking him to close against the 27-year-old Nikola Jokic or the 20-something Jamal Murray or Anthony Edwards. I mean, go down the line of the guys that they would have to beat for this team to go someplace. That's just not a realistic approach. So it's simply that I think that they were a little taken by what they did last year and thinking we can at least replicate that, and who knows, maybe we could go further. And when it comes to the Nuggets in particular, like, do I think that they could have won an extra game or two? Yes, I think they could have. I'm not going to go so far as to say they should have, because you are talking about the defending champions.
That's true.
And you are talking about the team that beat them this very same way 4 times last year.
Right.
I think that the roster is not good enough to compete with the best team in the league. And as we very well might see again this year, maybe nobody's roster is good enough to compete with the best team in the league. We'll see what happens when we get to the Western Conference Finals and the finals. If somebody can make it interesting, they look dominant when they're not playing well.
Yeah.
And so I can't be too hard on the Lakers because it's just an obvious gap here.
Right.
There's a gap in the roster. To your point, LeBron has played incredible this season. I don't know what much more you could ask from him.
Yep.
But it wasn't the normal things that keep teams from having success if you have a complete roster. They were healthy.
Yep.
Anthony Davis was healthy. That's the number one thing we talk about with AD.
Yep.
He was healthy. He fought through lots of things that normally would take him out. He was out there on the court and pushed through it. LeBron was healthy. Austin Reeves was available. D'Angelo Russell was available. Like you had health on your side. So in that case, you just weren't good enough. And we knew that going into the series, it was going to take a Herculean effort to get this team beyond the champions.
You had to have reason to believe that you were going to be better than last year.
But during the regular season, they were.
No. But I mean better than the Nuggets.
Oh, yeah.
They were going to be like, you go into this series and go, you know what, this is what we have that we didn't have last year. And the one thing that they did have was their three-point shooting was better. LeBron James gave you more of that, using D'Angelo Russell and what he was able to do once you get past the trade deadline, he wasn't worried about going someplace else. He gave you that. The problem is, on the flip side, defensively, you weren't as good. So overall, you might have been better in 1 or 2 areas, but you weren't better overall.
I kind of disagree again, right? The Lakers led in a series points-wise, lead-wise, about 69 to 70% of the time, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. So I talked about finishing. Anthony Davis, you talked about being healthy, playing out there, plays solid defense on Jokic for most of the time. But you can't go out there and ball for all 3 quarters, right? Playing defense, scoring the ball, doing this, doing that. And the fourth quarter comes, not that you're not scoring, because I have an issue with that, but you're not even taking shot attempts. They can't win. They won't be in the lead. They can't have 70% of the lead, right, if Anthony Davis doesn't play well in them 3 quarters. But in the fourth quarter, where you at?
Yeah.
I've watched games where he's not even shooting the ball.
Okay,
I watched 2 fourth quarters he's had under 3 shot attempts. So when you talk about LeBron being 38, 39, wherever he is, right, he's been older, he wasn't the issue. The issue was our second best player, right, our biggest, highest paid player, top 75 player, plays well but doesn't finish. You can't win nothing without finishing. That's the one thing a coach teaches when you were a kid. It's not how you start. It's how you finish.
I'll give you that, but I'll lay this out to the two of you. Do you expect something from players that they've never shown you before? Just because you think that or you believe or that they're capable of it, but they've never done it, so you're like, well, now I need you to do it. Because that's where I am with Anthony Davis.
Well, can I answer? Because you kind of asked us.
Yes.
Right? Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch teams that played the Bulls back then when they was running things, before they start running it, the weak point was who? Scottie Pippen.
In terms of what?
I mean, heart, right? Crying, saying I got a migraine to go out the game, right? Things like that. We've seen it.
But that was while Jordan was out.
No. Jordan was playing at that time. He was playing. It was a playoff series, playoff games. Right? When you asking Pippen to do this and do that, they said, listen, we're going to let MJ do her thing because we know Pippen's not. When they started running things is when Pippen got on that same level with MJ. Like, all right, look, you Ryan, I'm Ryan. You Batman, I'm Robin. And that's when it changed. So, yeah, there's times where Pippen was kind of shy and kind of soft.
Okay.
And then he turned it up.
Fair. But how far into Pippen's career was that?
Hey,
I mean, look where we are with AD.
Yeah, that's true.
Joy. Like, am I wrong here to say, look, AD's never given me that. I'm not going to look. That's why I say they should have addressed this some other way rather than to think that AD was going to step into it.
For us, I think it's okay to expect things from players who are top 75 all-time players, who are future Hall of Famers, who are talking about how they want to have more respect in the league and they are champions. Like, I think you can level up your expectations from players from behind this desk. When I think it's your responsibility and your job to expect things from players, I think you have to evaluate in a more reasonable fashion. I do think that they need a stronger roster. Let's just say they weren't going up against the Nuggets. Who's to say they're winning that series? Who's to say they're getting to the postseason? Like, we know how they got here. Because we have the information now. But things could have gone a million different ways. If we're looking at what the Lakers are and how they performed in this series, yes, maybe that would have been enough to go 7 or 6 against another opponent.
Still same result.
But are you still moving on? I don't know that they are. And it's not because their top 2 players weren't available. It's not because the top 2 players weren't playing at their height of what they're capable of doing. And maybe we should expect Anthony Davis to finish because he is that type of player and you should have those kind of expectations from him. But then where do you go? You still have the rest of the roster to figure things out. So I just don't know that they actually have enough.
Even that bad, though, right? A lot of these games they were winning late in the games.
No, they led 70% of the time.
So it's like, as much as we keep saying the roster part, I'm cool with that, right? D-Lo, I'm okay the way he played in this playoff series, right? Majority of the time he was showing up, but some games he didn't, right? Some games he actually didn't even, come to the game, right? He had 0 points.
He gave you more than he gave you last year.
Okay. Hakamura, right? He missed some open shots last game, which we were seeing, but played solid defense. Like, role players, I couldn't take that from. It's more the stars for me. If the role players can cruise and have you in the game and having you up lead-wise, I need my stars to finish the games out. That's what I'm saying.
Where I would agree with you is, if your stars are giving consistent performances, then it really just, and your roster is good enough, one role player having a big night and sort of rotating that big night for each of those guys should be enough to keep you in a series.
Yeah.
Maybe not against the Nuggets, but I mean, I'm thinking back to like the Heat last year. The star's going to show up. Somebody's going to step up every single night and contribute in a big way. Now, it might be one person's night this night and another person's night the next night. They might not give you 30 every night, but the role players are going to contribute. I don't like to put things on the role players. I'm with you. But I do think when you look at how teams move on through the playoffs and how teams win big games, you do have contributions of significance from role players, from teams that are championship level teams.
But I'll go back to this with AD. Like, how many situations have you seen over the course of his entire career?
You got a point. You got a point.
Where he closed a game, where he was your closer.
But Slick, I'm not even saying close. Give me some shot attempts, right? For example, like we talk about the Nuggets, how great they were. And I give Ham more credit for this. There's some times where Ham had great defensive game plans for the Nuggets, right? I watched Jokic. I mean, he played phenomenal, but there's times where he wasn't scoring, right? And AD was playing good defense. Murray, let's talk about Jamal Murray. Yo, a lot of time in this series, he was locked up. Now, it's hard to shut down a really good, talented player. It's hard to do for a whole game. So my thing is, yo, they did it. Where they had time where they were struggling on offensively because of the defense the Lakers had. And then the fourth quarter came, Jokic showed up. Jamal Murray showed up. So why can they do it? But the Lakers can't do it. They both got star power.
Well, but let's not say the Lakers. Let's not say the Lakers.
Okay.
Let's say Anthony Davis.
That's even better.
Right? And I'm with you in terms of, I guess it's just a fait accompli for me. Like, I would love to see Anthony Davis make or miss, be aggressive.
That's it. That's what I'm saying.
Live with it, right? But I've seen it for so many years.
You just know.
I'm just like,
no, you're right.
I'm not going to push that button because I know it doesn't work.
Well, LeBron's sixth season is with the Lakers now is over. So he has a player option for next year, and his future with the team has been brought up since the loss. I understand him not answering, and I understand the question.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Why?
What's he supposed to say? He doesn't need to answer that question. He doesn't. I understand they have to ask it, and I understand him not answering it. Why would he answer it?
I'm not going anywhere.
He's an honest man, though. I like that about him. He ain't lie to you.
He didn't lie.
He didn't. No. He
did not lie.
That's the king. The crown on talk about the king.
No, I'm fine with that. Shady, do you think that LeBron should run it back with the Lakers?
I think so. Right? And I think so he should do it with his son. If LeBron stays in L.A., they're going to go get his boy. Bring your baby boy up. His firstborn, bring him up. I mean, I just think that, I guess I look at it in a different light than other people, right? I always defer to guys like Slick. Slick. He knows, like, you know, more about the basketball than I do, right? All my little NBA friends, the greats, I ask them about it.
We all do.
Because my thing is, like, LeBron, even though he's at 39 years old, he ain't slowing down. Because there's going to be a time where he's going to have to be 18 points, 15 points. I see guys averaging 15 points a game getting max contracts, right? So he's still not in that phase of his game. He's only going to get better. Only thing they need one more star player, though, right? Because AD is really, really good, bro, and he's talented, but he cannot finish, and you cannot depend on him. A game like that in the fourth quarter where I need my best, our best against your best, he gets you his best for 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter, you're not even shooting the ball. Can't win like that. So I would, if they were running back with LeBron James, I would say run it back, bring your son on, because that's going to bring you back, right? That's incentive to bring you back to the team. And then maybe try to go out there and get one more good star, right? Because you can't depend on Andy Davis in this clutch time.
Yeah, there was that little pause before he answered the question where he was thinking things over. You know what he was thinking?
What's that?
My player option is $51 million. Nobody can pay him anything close to that. He's not going to go play someplace for the veterans minimum.
That's true. He's LeBron.
And why leave L.A. when you know that they're going to draft your son? You know they're going to draft you. You know they're going to allow you to do the last thing on your bucket list, which is to play with your son, which is just an amazing thing. And why not do it in L.A., in that arena? Like, why would you do that anyplace else? And the authority and the appreciation that Lakers Nation has for him and having brought them, okay, it was in the bubble. It was still, you brought him a championship.
It's a ring.
You've continued to play well. And now you have the opportunity, maybe you're not playing for another banner, but you get to watch on a nightly basis the only father-son duo that's ever played in the NBA. That's a draw. right?
Yeah.
So I just don't, it doesn't make any sense for him. He's going to go, look, he talked about it afterward. He was talking about like family, right?
Yes.
Spending time with your family. But you're going to go, what, you're going to go to, I don't know, New York, Dallas, like someplace else where you're living in a condo for a year?
Because his daughter's getting older. He talk about his daughter, talk about his wife. She's doing things.
Sons in AAU.
He got 2 sons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes zero sense for him to go anyplace.
And he's a businessman off the court. And a lot of the business he has is in LA.
All of it's in LA.
Yeah, he's
all of it's based in LA.
He's staying.
Yeah, this is going to be lots of fodder for these shows and others.
But
LeBron
pointless.
is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We will fill some airtime with this conversation for the next couple months.
Yeah.
He is not going anywhere. One, because nobody can pay him what the Lakers can pay him. He can opt out of his $51.4 million player option. He'll sign a 3-year, $161.9 million extension with the Lakers.
Oh, he's going to do that?
Well, I mean, yeah.
I mean, he likes money. He do.
I mean, I would do it.
I mean, other than his...
do it if I were him, but...
Look, like, LeBron James has made a lot of money. $170 million is still a lot
no.
of
I'm
money.
not saying that he wouldn't, that he'd turn that down.
No, he's not going to turn it down. And
hell no.
And the other thing that he is trying to do, that he's talked about doing, other than playing with his son, is what? What's the other thing that he wants to do?
Play until 40.
No, once he's done playing.
He got a lot of
He wants to buy a team. He wants to be a.
Oh,
he wants to own a
yeah.
team.
Well, that's already set. That's done.
want to do what?
He'll own the Vegas team.
Yes.
He'll be. Yeah.
Yeah, but you still have to buy the team. Like you still got to have that cash in the bank to buy the team.
Yeah.
So
he'll have other people.
He's not going to buy it by himself. We know how those ownership structures work. I'm just saying, why would you turn down $170 million?
Yeah. No.
Obviously, you're going to play with your son. He has many businesses here. He has his daughter here. She's playing sports. His other son is playing. As he mentioned, his wife is doing new things. He is not picking up and going somewhere for half of the year to go for what? For a championship. He has those. He's not chasing a championship. So if this was a situation where he still hasn't won a championship, this is his last chance. He's still playing at a super high level. He can go and contribute, and it won't feel like he's truly chasing it because he can really contribute. That is not the case whatsoever. We know that Bronny is likely going to be there with him.
Yeah.
This is the right situation for this. Why are you going to pick up and go? And even if you do pick up and go, the conversation is going to be that you're chasing something else. That you're you're not. You don't really care about all these things you're saying you care about. You care about chasing Jordan, which he is not doing at this point.
This is the only question I have with the extension, and I kind of heard it for the first time this year from him. I don't know that he wants to play 3 more years. I think he wants to play another year, and I think he wants to play with Bronny. But
I think it's 2 more years.
If he's with a team that's not playing for championships or just struggling to make the playoffs, I'm not convinced that at this stage that he really that means enough. I mean, what value does that have for LeBron at this stage? That's the only question I have.
I think it's 2 more years. I could hear you on 1 more, but I think it's 2 more years. But
I mean, I'll just say this, right? And I'm nowhere near LeBron James, right? But if you just look at all the greats, it's hard to walk away. Michael Jordan left on top, and he came back to play for the Wizards, right? We wouldn't even think about that. If you just go down the list, right? Kobe, he's another one, though. Like, he didn't want to leave the game, right? I mean, I'm saying if he did, he left a little earlier, right? He got the Achilles injury, came back for. So I could just name Shaquille O'Neal. I could keep going down the list, all the greats. I didn't want to see him with the Suns. He didn't either. But when you love the game so much, it's like it's really it's hard to say how much time he got left because he's still playing at a high level, right? I know that fight's still in him. Even I've been retired for a couple years now, and there's times where when it gets closer to summertime, right?
Yeah.
I'm used to camp.
Feel it.
My body just starts feeling a certain way. It makes me want to get up and work out. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I was in the club last night.
it's not for the summer, bud.
All I'm saying is it's Tom Brady. He's the last one. I mean, god dang.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.